What's up, everybody? Thought I would do a video to give some help on adjustments and how to make the car turn better and race better. Today's topic is going to be adjustments for an oversteer situation, or commonly called a loose situation. And oversteer or loose is when you go through a corner or exit a corner and it's almost like the car wants to turn too much. It's the back end wants to come around and swap ends with the front, or almost like you're going to spin out or go around it like you're dirt tracking it. And I'm going to go over specific adjustments, whether it is loose on entry, middle, or exit, but a couple of general guidelines on adjustments before I go into the specifics. First off, since this is primarily based on NASCAR racing games or oval racing games, adjustments to the right side have a bigger impact than adjustments to the left side. A wedge has a much more dramatic impact than other adjustments. The camber adjustments can make you really turn well and go really fast, but you pay for it in terms of tire wear. So if you're in a shorter race or you're trying to do a qualifying setup, camber adjustments can really make you fast, but they can also really impact tire wear. In general, stiffer springs on the front make the car tighter, while softer ones make them looser. So, for instance, if you had, say, a 100-pound differential in the springs, but you moved both springs from 900 and 800 to 1100 and 1000, that's going to tighten the car up if you move them both up by the same amount. Conversely, on the rear of the car, stiffer rear springs will make the car looser and softer rear springs will make it tighter. So if you were running a 600 and a 500-pound spring and then you reduced both of them by 100, that's softening the springs overall and it's going to make the car tighter. But with that being said, as far as general rules on the adjustments, let's get into some of the specifics for the loose adjustments. So this is a chart that I made that kind of walks through things, and these are the basic loose adjustments. So you're going to see here, if you're just loose in general, these are the adjustments you want to make, and then here's specifics for on entry, middle, or exit. And I'm sure you can pause this and go across and look at it, but specifically, what you're going to see is if it is oversteer, you're going to want to raise the pressure on the right front tire or stiffen it. That is kind of a universal adjustment. If you're doing that on the right front, you would want to do the opposite on the left front and go with lower tire pressure and soften it. The front sway bar really impacts you on entry more than it does on exit. The rear tires are kind of the opposite of the front, whereas the right front, you would raise your tire pressure and stiffen your spring. The right rear, you would lower and soften it all the way across. And then the left rear, of course, you would do the opposite. You would raise the tire pressure here where you lowered it on the left front. A lot of times, if you're just a little bit off, you can make a change of as little as a quarter pound on all four tires in the appropriate direction and really change the handling of the car. Other things you can look at are the rear sway bar, which a lot of times rear sway bars aren't even used, but the track bar is something that is used on the back frequently, and generally lowering it is going to adjust for a loose condition. Wedge is at the bottom, and wedge has a huge impact, and you would increase the wedge to compensate for a loose condition. Now, these are all great, but there's a couple of things I want to talk about on a little more advanced scale, because if you are dealing with specifically loose in one area of the track, such as entry, middle, or exit, but not others, there are ways where you can actually adjust for one thing, and that adjustment will actually solve a loose problem in one area of the track, but create a problem in another area of the track. So when you look at this, the green is stuff that's pretty universal, that about anywhere you are loose, you make this adjustment, it is going to help you. Okay. If it is yellow, it is something that is specific to a general area. So, for instance, if you want to look at the left front bump, that's going to help you on entry and in middle, not going to do anything for you on exit. Conversely, left rear bump is going to help you on middle and exit, but not do much on entry. The red ones are the ones you want to be cautious of, because what it's going to do is it may solve your problem in one area but create a problem in another. So for instance, if you're loose on entry, you would increase the left front rebound. That's going to solve for a loose on entry, but it would not help you if you were loose on exit. So if you're loose all the way through, this is going to help you here. It's going to make this problem even worse. So be careful of the areas where it is decrease, increase. Now, I've got them in red because we're talking about loose adjustments. If you had a problem where you were loose on entry but tight, then looking at these things in red are the way to go, because that is one adjustment that would affect the car one way in one area of the turn, different way in the other area. So again, the red stuff is where you're going to look at it and say, not a universal adjustment. It would solve for the loose problem in one area, but make it worse in another area. So hope this helps. The wedge is in green. Again, that is your big adjustment, but be careful. You only want to move it a little bit at a time because it has a dramatic impact. And the camber adjustments, be careful because you will pay for those adjustments in terms of tire wear. So please, if you don't mind, like this video, subscribe. I'll be doing more things on other areas of adjustment and specific setups for different tracks. So hope this is helpful to everybody.